everybody. The last 365 days have been an interesting adventure. I was here, like she said, a year ago today, and I spoke on the stage. And for those of you that saw my talk, thank you, because you helped it make it to the homepage of TED.com. And if my mom was here, she would probably thank you too. She made me make a point to thank everyone for doing that. If you didn't see my talk, it was about the work that I did with Invisible Children for their most successful event at that point, called the Rescue of Joseph Kony's Child Soldiers. I spoke about people called anonymous extraordinaries who use their acts from conviction and not for recognition. And when I say that that was the most successful event at the time, I really emphasize at the time. Because I'm sure most of you and 130 million other people in the world have heard of Invisible Children's most recent campaign, Joseph Kony 2012. And this past year was interesting because I had some really high points, but then a few other interesting significant things happened. I moved to Los Angeles, my car broke down. I moved around from different houses trying to find work for film. Tried to move back to Chicago, my car broke down again. And honestly, the last 365 days haven't been that glamorous, you know? And I was sifting through the last few days trying to figure out what to talk about, trying to figure out, is there some epic moment or significant thing that happened that I could share with you guys? And quite honestly, I've just been in it, you know, just continuing to work towards filmmaking and pay the bills and just a grind that everybody goes through. But then I realized that just because I didn't have some significant epic thing happen this past year doesn't mean that there isn't a story to be told. Because through every single story, through a story that directly affects me, through a story that affects the people around me, we're all connected. It's this network of connections and shared experiences and shared stories and actions. A story never stands alone. And today I can use this platform, this stage, and not even just this stage, but every single day to amplify the stories of the people around me. And I kind of have to eat my own words. Anonymous extraordinaries, what I talked about. And this year, I've kind of played the role as the extra, being the supporting role in the lives of the stories unfolding around me every single day. Like my friend here, Kristen Powers. I met Kristen last year after I talked, and she just embraced me, and I was like, God, I love this girl. Her spirit's so bright. I mean, how can you not love that face? And we exchanged emails a little bit, and then a few weeks later, I heard her backstory, that at 18, she lost her mom to Huntington's disease, and that now she's working on a documentary about her mom and about her journey to being tested, and really hit me because my dad's been sick for a long time, and I cannot even imagine going through that and then continuing to push on through your dreams and stuff. And today, Chris and I am so honored to be standing on the stage with you and all the other speakers and with all of you here today, and know that your story is our story as well. And last year when I was up here, it was such a huge honor. I'm not even going to say that I wasn't excited or anything because I was losing my mind. It was so exciting, and the fact that how I was up here was because of all of the thousands of anonymous extraordinaries that came behind me and lifted me up on their shoulders for the good of the story. It was by a committed community of individuals, of messy, ridiculous, leaving their dishes all over the place, not afraid to tell me when I'm being a diva, group of radically committed individuals. Those are the people that got me on the stage. You, the people that I've worked at with Invisible Children, my family, and all of you have also given me a voice to be able to amplify the voices of other young 18-year-old no-name interns out there who are trying to pursue their dreams. This is my friend, Timmy Shivers. Yes, his name is Timmy Shivers. He's 19 years old, and he is as animated as a Pixar character. He's ridiculous. He is working with Invisible Children right now, traveling the country, taking a semester off of photojournalism is where he's going to school for that. And when I was working with Invisible Children, it was rough. I mean, you travel around, you're talking to thousands of people, it's exhausting, but now it's a whole different ballgame. And what Timmy and his other teammates are going through on the road is every day are meeting people with different discussions, and sometimes it's not necessarily agreeing with everyone. There's a lot of having to agree to disagree and leaning into these discussions, and sometimes criticism and sometimes kind of aggressive things, but I think the most important thing to learn with this is that even though it has been met with difficulties, this is the first time that these discussions have ever been happening. Because of the millions of people that have heard about this, we can have those conversations. Whether we agree, disagree, or again, agree to disagree, it's happening. And Timmy has used his story and his life ever since he was in high school for the cause of a greater good, to support this community in East Africa that he has known and become friends with some of them and wants to see justice brought to that area. The phenomenon of Coney 2012, if there's one thing, whether you agree with the politics of it or not, there's one thing that is so clear, is that it is a perfect example of how a community has worked and of how a story does not stand alone. Because if that story did stand alone, then the movement would have stopped. When the media and the international media and people on television put all of the pressure on one person in this movement, it would have stopped. But the fact is, it's never been about that one person. It was never about him, and it's not now, and that's why this movement is still pushing on. It has grabbed not just national attention, but international attention. From, let's laugh about that. From ABC, BBC, my favorite Anderson Cooper. It's grabbing so much attention, and it's being pushed in the right direction. It's being taken to Congress. And now they're starting a resolution on the situation. You see, I'm not trying to top my life with one TED Talk after another. What I'm trying to do on this stage is live out the mission that I spoke about last year, is to be okay with being that anonymous extraordinary, and realizing that stories are unfolding every day around us, and we're a part of them whether we like it or not. So even though I know confidently, I know that I will continue to push and persevere with my dreams of filmmaking, and I know that eventually I will have more stories to be told and to be written home and for my mom to freak out about, like these things. But I think what's the most important thing to realize is that sometimes we have to be, again, that supporting role and be willing to amplify the stories of the people in our community. And that's kind of the season I'm at right now, is amplifying you guys. And those of you that I haven't met, and hopefully will meet today, and my Invisible Children family, and my church, and my family, and my sisters here, we're all this international, connected community. And I think that when we look at what role we play in people's lives versus just how they've affected us, I think that makes our story a much more riveting read anyways. And Coney 2012 has kind of pushed back the curtain. These YouTube and Twitter and Facebook phenomenons, they're not making us even more connected. They're revealing how connected we've always been and proving to us that a story never stands alone. Thank you, guys.